So people are always asking me where I get my herbs from, and with mugwort, I always say you have to wildcraft it because from the herb store, it's just not going to work. It's probably been sitting in storage too long and it's all degraded. Like, here's herb store mugwort. You see how many sticks and stems are in there? That's all just dead weight that they use to bulk up the price. And this has been sitting around for who knows how long. It really doesn't have any smell. So today I'm going to show you not just how to wildcraft it, but how to look for it so you actually find it. And it's probably growing near you. Mugwort is famous for growing along roads. It likes to grow in disturbed areas, which makes it way easier to find because that means it's going to be on all the hiking trails. It's going to be even in the street out here. I find it growing in the sidewalk all the time. But that raises an important point. You don't want to pick it from the street and the sidewalk because they're spraying chemicals. There's people spitting and there's dogs peeing on stuff. There's runoff from who knows what type of fertilizer or engine oil from the cars driving. All types of pollution and toxins and chemicals that you don't want to use. So you want to go to a more pristine area. But I have to run some errands today, and I have to do some wildcrafting, so I'm going to take you on this journey and show you the do's and don'ts of how to find wild mugwort to use for tincturing, or smoking, or eating, or making a salve, or anything you want. Oh, so first things first. It's middle of July right now, and the prime picking season is going to be for about the next month. You want to pick mugwort typically just before flowering or in the early flowering stages. And you'll notice if you try to pick it earlier, it'll look like mugwort, it'll feel like mugwort, but it won't really smell like mugwort. It won't have that potent mugwort, artemisia, kind of sage-like, iconic scent. And you want that strong scent. Those are the terpenes, and that's the spirit of the plant, as the alchemists might call it. And that's where it gets a lot of its effects from. So if you're watching this video near the time I uploaded it, go out there and start picking right away because you only have about a month to get it when it's in its optimal state. If you pick it a little earlier, a little late, hey, no big deal. But if you want the top quality, now's the time. So if you look right here, you can see a mugwort that's growing in the sidewalk. This one is young, or it's been cut by a weed whacker or something because it's small. I should have made this video earlier. It smells good, but I should have made this video earlier because this town used to be covered in it, like mugwort that was like 4 feet tall lining the sidewalks. So we just found a good patch right here. You can see this is more mature. It's getting closer to that budding flowering stage. You want to look at the leaves all the way down. This one doesn't have much of the purple look that you're looking for with mugwort, but the underside is white like it should be. It's a little fuzzy. Crush it up in your fingers, smell it. It's got that mugworty smell. This is a beautiful patch, but should we pick it? Obviously not, because it's surrounded by cars and pollution. So here we got another mugwort growing. It's got the white leaves. It's got the look. It's got the smell. It's growing in someone's yard as a weed. Should we take it? Also, no, because I don't know what they're spraying. I just walked 10 feet and here's a whole nother big patch. But we're not going to take it because, like I said, it's polluted. This one has more of that purple look you're looking for in the stem, though. I really like this stuff. It smells better than the stuff that doesn't have the purple, I think. Another area mugwort might grow is marshy areas. There's a marsh there. And it doesn't grow in the marsh, it grows near it. So if you zoom in, where is it? I don't know if you can see that plant right here. It's a mugwort, and it's growing because it's near water but not in the water, so it gets plenty of drainage. Now would we pick that? Would we harvest from here? Again, clearly not. But I just want to show you where it grows. Sometimes you'll notice it grows like a border around a marsh where the water is perfect, and it won't grow any closer or further than that. So we're on the other side of the road now by that marsh. You can see this mugwort. I don't want to put my phone over in case I drop it, but it's actually growing out of the rocks because there's enough water nearby and enough drainage on these rocks. It can grow right out of the wall. All right, guys, so this is the mother lode right here. This is all mugwort. You can see it's in different stages of its life cycle. It looks like there might be a couple different varieties even, or just different colors. growing all around here. This is almost entirely mugwort in this patch of plants. It's crazy. You can see it grows really tall. You probably can't tell from here. This is taller than me. It's like 7-8 feet tall. So here's some good mugwort. It's got the look, the smell. You're looking for this type of leaf shape, and that leaf shape changes higher up the plant. So you get all the way to the top and you're getting just single lobe leaves that are like, you know, one leaf basically. And then you get near the bottom and that can expand into a leaf shape more like this. So it goes from here all the way up until like this type of shape and everything in between. You're always going to want to flip it over and check the back, make sure the back is white. Very, very much lighter than the face of the leaf. I always crush it and smell it. And this variety here, we're gonna get more purple near the base. I don't know if it shows up on camera, but there's little purpley veins. Some mugwort gets really, really purple. But the white underside is what you're looking for most. You want to check out your area, make sure there's nothing that can look similar to mugwort. But the thing is, any of the copycat plants that look like it are going to usually not have this white underside, and that's going to be your biggest telltale sign of whether or not it's actually mugwort. So you can see where we are. It's in a disturbed area because we're in a graveyard, so this area gets maintained. And this is just obviously the prime conditions for mugwort. It's wet, but there's drainage. It's disturbed. It's getting sun. It likes to be near us. It likes to be near people. It likes to be near places that are always being disturbed. So now we're going to ask, should we harvest it? Well, the answer is no, because we're still very close to the road and there's going to be runoff from the road. I'm actually near the bottom of the hill that goes up, ultimately up there. And I don't know what they use in this graveyard. So the ground here is very wet. It's kind of sandy, which is good for drainage. It's also on a hill, which is great for drainage. And if we go deeper into the patch, the soil actually gets really dark and black and rich like compost, like it is over here. So there's a seemingly better biomass in this soil. Look what we just found in the patch. Trash, engine oil. But talk about a disturbed area, huh? It's like they're dumping stuff here, driving up past it all the time. It's a shame to find such a big, beautiful patch that can't be harvested. Under certain conditions, if I'm willing to risk it, I might use it for myself, just for my own personal use. Or if, you know, say there's a disaster and you can't get somewhere and you need herbal medicine right away, maybe I would be a little less discerning on where I pick it. But I'm showing you this to show you the conditions, to help you identify the plant. And this is a little better than the mugwort we find growing out of the sidewalk, but it's not, you know, the prime stuff yet. And yeah, you really do develop a sixth sense for this type of thing the more you do it. So, like, I knew we were going to find mugwort in the graveyard. That's why I made this video. I knew I was going to be walking past a bunch on my way to the store. And I can kind of point out any area around here, and I just know, I'm like, all right, we'll probably find it there. We probably won't find it over in that area. You kind of get a sense of how to narrow down where to look for it in the first place, so you don't waste your time in the wrong type of environment. Like, for instance, if you're near, say, a railroad, it's probably going to grow all the way along the railroad, but I still wouldn't pick it. So what you're really going to want to find is going out into the forest where people hike, you know, hiking trails. Take the hiking trail up a bit to a high spot. That way, you know that the runoff from whatever's nearby isn't draining and flowing into where the mugwort's growing. It's up high, so the runoff is running downhill away from the mugwort. It's not accumulating toxins that way. You want to look for trash for people, for signs of spraying, like low genetic diversity, like a manicured lawn type of thing. Would not be a good patch. You want a lot of bugs, a lot of biodiversity, a lot of different plants, and you want to be up high away from people and trash as much as possible. You don't have to get too crazy about that, but you know, you'll know a clean area when you're there, and you'll know if it feels healthy. and feels like a good medicinal patch to pick from. The more you do it, especially. But yeah, keep an eye out for those sorts of things and go out hiking on trails and just follow the trail up quite a ways until you start seeing less trash and less people. And you know there's no way they're spraying out there. They're not using a lawnmower. There's no vehicles bringing engine oil and gasoline up there. You're looking for something close to nature, but also close enough to humans to be disturbed regularly. And I'll take you guys to a spot like that tomorrow. It started raining on me, so I decided to go home. But we'll go out to a new place I've never explored before, and I'll show you how I find mugwort patches in an unfamiliar place. And spoiler alert, it's pretty easy. Alright, it's a brand new day and we've got a lot of sun out. So we're on our way to a less populated, cleaner area. I'm showing you so you can see it's not going to be growing in anything thick like this. If it's not growing on the edge where it's disturbed and there's a lot of sun, it's not going to be there. So when you're walking along the trail, you're just going to look in like this type of area and not so much back there. Oh, see what I mean here? It's right on the edge of the trail. It's not going to be in those vines. If we went up on these rocks, this is all a bunch of rocks right here. In fact, I think I can even see some. It's not something we're going to harvest, just showing you the types of places it will grow. Up all along inside these rocks and the areas where people walk especially, it's probably growing up there. So mugwort can grow very close to the ocean, and I'm a little surprised that we haven't seen any growing right here, but not that surprised, because if I did find any near the ocean like this, I'd expect it to be kind of smaller and spread out, like it's struggling a little bit. I've never seen a nice big thick dense patch by the ocean. It's always little stragglers. So I have found a lot of mugwort growing in the park. That's not stuff I would harvest, and this spot ended up being a bit of a wash because I thought there was hiking trails going into the forest out here, but this is it. It's like the trail goes 50 yards, so I have to go to a real forest. Now, if there's trails all through around in here with sun, there's got to be mugwort growing pretty close to the pond. It's so beautiful out here. Let's go in there and see what's going on. On second thought, we're going to walk a little bit further to the public park. There's a bonus plant for you. This is mullein. If you see this while you're out picking mugwort, their harvest times are very similar. You can add this to a smoking blend with mugwort. Alright, so here we are at the beginning of a legitimate hiking trail that goes into the woods. And it's really easy. Like I said, mugwort is like a very leisurely type of plant to wildcraft because it's not going to grow in the dense, thick stuff. You just walk along the trail and it's probably going to grow pretty close to the trail. From a glance, I'm not seeing any, but in this little sunny meadow over here, that's the type of spot it's likely growing. There's probably some mixed in, so let's take a closer look. Until I stepped in here, I don't know if you can see how muddy that is. It's not going to grow in a friggin' swamp like that. We got to go to a drier area, which really just means get a little bit higher so we don't have water pooling up. So I'm finding plenty of little sunny spots, but I'm realizing, you know, with the thick canopy, it's probably not sunny enough to really make mugwort want to grow there. It looks like other plants are taking over. So what I'm doing instead now is kind of looking up high, trying to find areas that don't have as much trees and that also aren't going to be over low-lying areas. Like I'm not going to go here, even though you can see there's less trees just beyond here. It's because it dips down and that's going to be really wet and boggy. What you're looking for is like a wider, more open spot in the canopy that's over a little hill or near the edge of water, like on a berm, and that's going to have better growing conditions. I've come off the trail a bit, and everywhere I'm stomping around out here is really soft and covered with a lot of dead leaves. So I'm just going to go back to Old Reliable and get back on the trail and follow it for a little while till I find a spot that meets all of our criteria, meaning ideally, it's going to be close to water. I think there's a pond out here. I'll go check over there. It's going to have drainage, it's going to have some sun, and it's going to be in the disturbed area, probably really like right on the trail. So this is a good opportunity to bring something important up, actually. You see what I'm doing is I'm walking along the trail a bit. When I think I find something that looks promising, I'll go off the trail towards it. And then when I don't find anything for a while, I'll go back onto the trail. And that way you don't get lost. So keep little landmarks like, whoops, you can see I'm in that deep mud again after I just walked in the opposite direction for a while. And I was using the downed trees as landmarks because there's so many of them that they kind of made their own trail. So I'd walk along those, and when I realized I wasn't in a good spot for mugwort, I can just follow the dead trees back to this little friggin' swamp area, and just on the other side behind me, that's where the trail picks back up. I'm in a pretty small little forest where people come and hike, so you can't really get lost too bad. If you just walk straight in one direction for like half an hour, you'll probably end up on a road. But the reason people get lost in the woods, and I've done it a few times, is because when you're walking in one direction, you're taking note of all the landmarks, like rocks and trees. And then when you turn around behind you to walk back where you think you were, everything looks different from the other side. The trees, the rocks, they all look very different. So, every 10 yards to maybe even 30 yards, I kind of look behind me and take note of a little landmark. And it's just second nature now. Like, you only get lost in the forest a couple times before you figure out not to do that. And I have had to use that classic trick before where if you find a river or water, you follow it downhill because that's always going to lead somewhere. It was a small area again, so I wasn't that lost, but it works. I found a little farm and just walked through the farm back onto the main road. Okay, so we're here, and this here is that beautiful pond where we saw the private property. So I was standing right about here when I saw the private property sign. I should have just walked along the very edge of the pond, maybe even on this side, and that would have been a shortcut into the park. Now I'm not sure if we're going to go up here or towards the swamp. Let's find out. Here's a little key. So I'm trying to decide to turn left or right, and looking at the topographical map, I think I should go left, because if I go this way, I'm not sure. There's probably going to be some right around here, but I don't know. I just have a better feeling like if I can find some sunny spots, I might be able to find it over there, because I'm hoping the lower areas are swampy, and that's why it's called Swamp Trail. And then I'm hoping if I get just off the trail to a little bit higher, we're going to run into that type of mugwort perimeter I've been talking about, where it grows along the edges of water, where it's not too wet and not too dry, and it gets sun and drainage. So we're going to take a gamble and see if the canopy opens up and we find a little more hospitable area for mugwort around this trail. If you've got a spot that's more like open, like a plains, or near a desert, or wherever you are in the country, it grows all types of environments, found it all over the tropics, and you have like, say like a park in the forest that have big open patches, like the park I was at earlier, where I was showing you where it would grow on the rocks, you'll probably find it there more readily. I'm just constrained with what's within walking distance of me, and this park is definitely a little bit dense. It is getting a little less dense the further in I go, and a little bit drier in a way that feels like mugwort would like to grow around. And the smell out here, that kind of like more dry foresty smell. It smells really good, like the summertime. It smells like that out here. Where I was earlier, it smelled more swampy, boggy, more wet. It spit us right back out onto the road, which I knew would happen, but I was hoping I'd find it before. I haven't looked up and down this road. I guarantee you, though, I can find it within like 2 minutes over there, or just on the other side of these rocks, up and down a ways. Let's take a look. Yeah, that took me about, 8 seconds to find one. And unfortunately, I can't pick it here. There's a bunch more down here, it looks like. I'm trying to get away from the road, though. That's kind of the frustrating thing, is it really likes the road. And it likes, as you can see, sunny, open area. And I can't find that in this forest. Just like I said too, when I pointed on the other side of the road, here we are on the other side. And there it is. So they used to put mugwort in their shoes for long hikes. And I might try that. See if anything happens to me. It is more comfortable, it's soft. So this is all it right here. Another big, massive patch. You can see they mow though. There's a lot of biodiversity, so that means probably no chemical pesticides though. Alright, so we're getting away from the maintained part of the park where they're mowing lawns and possibly, but unlikely, spraying something toxic, where we know if they do spray at the park, on the off chance they're spraying something horrible, it's not going to run off because we're now heading back uphill. It's crazy how much mugwort likes to be disturbed. It's like the opposite of me. You walk just a few feet off the trail to find a patch that's a little more pristine, and it just stops. It just stops growing. It wants to be stomped on. It wants to be right on that trail. All right, back into the dark forest. Hope it opens up. This video is meant to show you the process of starting looking for mugwort sites from scratch. I know plenty of great areas around here to harvest it that are safe, but I already know them, so I just walk right to the mugwort. I wanted to show you guys how to find it from zero, not knowing anything. I was trying not to use technology, and I found plenty of mugwort, hundreds, thousands of pounds of it, but it's always growing in the spots you don't want to pick it. So I'm going to refine this now, and instead we're going to use a little tech. And we're going to go on Google Maps, and we're going to get aerial view, and we're going to look for southern facing embankments that are far away from major roads, and I'm on my way there in a few minutes. Before entering a new wildcrafting site, it's traditional to leave an offering of something like tobacco or crocs. You can see I'm actually right on the water. So just, I'd imagine on this side of the trail, if it opens up and we get some light, that we'll find a mugwort perimeter, probably a huge monster patch. That's what I'm anticipating. Assuming we find a spot where the sun is right. It should grow there. So mugwort and mullein can often be found close together. It's a good sign. If there's not a patch somewhere around here, I will be shocked. Like, I just can't leave because there's no way there's not a patch right nearby. It wasn't up on the rocks like I thought it would be, but it's right here. And this is a good spot. It's not a motherlode type of patch. It's a beautiful patch. I'm technically trespassing. I really hate when people tell me I can't go into nature, collect herbs, or like, who are you, you know? Someone's trying to own the entire earth and tell earthlings they can't go do nature stuff. That's ridiculous. This is mullein. Like I said, I find it near mugwort a lot. And here's the proof. Found mugwort, found mullein. I'm gonna keep wandering, but I'm gonna harvest this stuff because we're in a nice clean area. So you can see I'm leaving bad leaves. Shake the bugs off of it when you take it. Look for things like scale, mold, spittle bugs, ticks, of course. I'm probably covered in them right now. I gotta go take a bath with some rosemary when I get home. Remember, I'm just trying to fill up a 2-liter flask a couple times. I might have that already, but I want to show you along this seawall, along this meadow, this path here. There's lots of little mugworts and probably enough to fill up a lot of the bag. But those are the things that kind of sustain you, and you follow them, and typically you're going to find like the mother lode around somewhere if you keep following the little ones. So we found a patch, and it's not quite as special as the graveyard patch, but that's a pretty rare one. See how this one has leaf curl? The leaf curls around. Try to get to focus. And if you zoom in, those are all aphids. So we're not going to take that one. But the funny thing about aphids is they tend to attack the weakest plant in the patch, and they leave the strong plants alone. The plants have an immune system like we do. So one technique some gardeners use is leave the diseased plant. And the aphids usually won't spread to other plants. They'll typically stay on the bad plant. And people do that because they don't want the aphids to leave and try to attack their good plants. and I've seen it done before, and it worked. It takes a little bit of guts to do it, though, because who's going to want to leave a diseased plant in their garden? It might be the best thing to do. Even though this is a smaller patch, I really like the mugwort we're finding. It's got that good purple color. Like I said, I think this stuff has a little stronger of a smell. These leaves are a little bit spikier than the ones I was showing you earlier. It's actually a pretty perfect day because I don't have anything to do tomorrow. So I can stay up late and run my still all night if I really want to. I got to see a new area that's pretty cool. I got to see some cool areas that aren't good for harvest. This is why I say it's easy. I'm always kind of just chilling, you know? So it was a little frustrating earlier when I couldn't find good stuff that I can harvest. I was only finding stuff in polluted areas. But that's kind of just mugwort for you. It's pretty typical. But it's a good day. It was easy. It was relaxing. I'm just walking around, you know, talking with you guys. It took me, 4 hours. But if I wanted to come right back here at any other time, it's only going to take me about 10 minutes to find it again. And now, after doing this out here, only a couple of trips, I know of a good, handful of patches I can harvest from. And if I really wanted to, I could stop looking for new ones, possibly for the rest of my life, because this mugwort's probably going to be growing abundantly in at least one of these patches until I die. So, everything after this is just super easy. So don't be worried about it. This is a pretty little plant here. Now I got to figure out what this is. I do get a lot of weird looks walking around town because I carry bags of plants with me into stores and restaurants and wherever I stop along the way. And I don't know if it's even legal to do what I do. I am not going to stop doing it. So, neither should you, because if people stop, that just gives more control to people telling you to stay out of nature. Like today it's supposed to be closed, the park's supposed to be closed, the trails are supposed to be closed. Like, it's the earth. It's a forest. She doesn't close. It's 24/7. And it's not necessarily... Ooh. Here's a patch. Look at this. Ah! If you guys are interested in buying any mugwort tincture or oil infusion or tea or smoking blend, I will be posting them for sale somewhere soon, and once they're up, I'll add a link in the description as well as a pinned comment on this video and some of my other videos. Thanks for watching, and have fun wildcrafting. See you soon. Oh yeah, like, comment, share, and subscribe and all that stuff. Alright.